We're gonna get into the genetics of aging with you. But before we get to that, we need some definitions here. So what is a telomere? Why do we have that on our DNA?
So the telomeres are the ends of chromosomes. So you've all seen these little things that look like crosses. This is your chromosomes, and we have 23 pairs. Every of our cells has the whole set. And at the ends of those chromosomes, there's telomeres. It's protective structure, like you see the little plastic thing on your shoelaces that avoid the shoelace to really fall apart. That's what telomeres are for your chromosomes. The DNA is a manual for your cells to know how to function. So every cell has all the information on how to function in that manual. Each time a cell divides, it needs to make a copy of that manual. And the copier that the cells use to do that, they cannot copy the first page and the last page. So each time the manual is copied, you lose the first page and the last page. And so telomeres are like blank pages that have been added so that you can lose pages and you will not lose any information. So it's really DNA without any information, and that's really the main role of telomeres.
But what does that have to do with aging?
It has to do with aging because the cell is using this shortening as a way to measure how many times it has been copied. You see, not only the manual, when it's being copied, loses the first and the last page, it also, the copier makes errors. And as you go in divisions, the manual is not as accurate anymore, and that can lead to cancer. So you cannot copy that manual indefinitely. And so imagine that when you remove those blank pages, at some point there's a page that says, stop, we've reached too many copies, we're going to stop here. And those cells that have reached that many copies of their DNA stop dividing, become what we call senescent, and that participates in aging. As we age, we accumulate those senescent cells that are still here in our body, but don't function as well as young cells.
What specifically do those blank pages do that makes it age and then go to senescence or go to sleep?
So DNA can break, and this is seen in our cells as a big problem. That leads to a signal that tells the cell to stop dividing and repair those breaks. Telomeres, because they are the ends of chromosome, they look like broken DNA, but they're not. So the telomeres tell the cells that this is not broken DNA, this should not be seen as a damage, but when telomeres become shortened, they lose this capacity to prevent the DNA damage signaling. So then they are being seen as DNA damage, and that's what sends the signal to the cell to stop dividing.
Got it. And that only happens when the telomeres shorten, and that happens over time. And therefore, as they shorten, they can't tell the cell to keep dividing, and voila, we have our issue.
Exactly.
We hear a lot in the news about how to keep our telomeres from shortening. Everything from genes to exercise to creams that supposedly keep our telomeres from shortening. Can you help us go through what's fact and what's fiction?
Yeah, so in general, as of now, we do not have something that would safely lengthen your telomeres. The only thing that you can do is work on having a more healthy life, because that has been proven scientifically. Anything that is a cream, a drug that pretends to lengthen your telomeres, I would be extremely cautious. In general, if it's too good to be true, it is. But there's been some very serious studies about what causes telomeres to shorten faster. So you really have two things about telomere length: is how much you inherited at birth of telomere length. So some people have longer telomeres than others, but then how much you decrease over age. And stress is very high stress is showing to increase telomere shortening or unhealthy life in general. So we all already know that we should live a healthy life, but clearly for your telomeres, it's the way to go. So exercise, not too much stress, good eating habits, and no drinking.
So it sounds like in general, we don't want our telomeres to shorten. If we prevent that artificially, are there some negative downstream effects there?
So yes, there are downsides because the definition of a cancer cell is a cell that keeps dividing no matter its environment. And to do that, one of the things that a cancer cell needs to do is elongate telomeres, maintain telomere length.
Wow, so we're stuck in this rock and hard place. On the one hand, assuming we want to slow the negative effects of aging, we want to slow how the telomeres decrease. However, if we do that, or worse, if we make them increase, that could lead to cancer. So where do we go from here with understanding telomeres?
Yeah, so I think really the future of this research leads to first using telomeres in cancer cells that elongate them all the time as a target to kill cancer cells. The other thing, of course, is to find the right balance of not making your telomere lengthen, because that would not be good, but have your telomeres in check and not decreasing too fast so you can increase your health span.